over the weekend, there was a news report. Okay. It's not like it was from Adam Schefter or an Ian Rappaport or a Jeff Zrebeck. And so this person sometimes gets it right and sometimes doesn't. But I think that there's probably, we think this is where the Ravens are going anyway. But Ricky, or at Slick Rick Scoops, is his name, has almost 35,000 followers. He reports, next up, the Ravens have already made an extension offer to Isaiah Likely at $13 million per year, and puts in parentheses, it's the same deal as Mark Andrews. Now, of course, Mark Andrews got that deal a few years back. He's now on the last year of that 5-year deal. So listen, I don't know how reliable this report is. Ricky has gotten it right before. He's also gotten it wrong before, like I said. But Bobby, it wouldn't be surprising to me if the Ravens have indeed already made a contract extension to Isaiah Likely. What say you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're lockstep on this one. He's clearly a part of their future plans. Everything that he's put out on tape, how he's conducted himself throughout his rookie contract. Can you think of anything that's a knock on the guy? Okay, his cleats from week 1 of last year. What else? There's nothing else. There's no knock on Isaiah Likely. And clearly he has everything that it takes. Clearly the DNA to be not only somebody that's regarded right now, Sarah, as a top 10 NFL tight end, but as somebody that could very well be a lifelong Raven. I know there's a lot of people in this chat that hope that that's the case. But think about it. The Ravens, according to most, and according to the most recent list that I know we shared, the outlet, and the name of the outlet escapes me right now, but there's a legitimate argument to be made. The Ravens have 2 top 10 tight ends. And I think a lot of people feel like, and I, myself included, had Isaiah not been in a by committee role really much throughout his rookie contract to date, he might be a household name by this point. So not sure what Ricky's batting average is these days. He definitely went on a little bit of a run over the weekend, or at the start of the weekend, kind of breaking his social media hiatus. So it'll just be something to watch. But the timeline certainly suggests that Eric's been working.
Well, and 13 million, even if you were making that up, right, is probably in the ballpark. So I pulled up here from Spot Rack the top 10 highest paid tight ends in the league right now. And Mark Andrews is actually at 14 million per year. So, it's a little bit off. But if Likely were to get 13 million, it would put him around top 6, top 5. And it's very interesting because you and I are definitely on the same page in that Isaiah Likely is probably, he's going to be tight end 1 of the future. And the Ravens are fortunate that they have 2 top 10 tight ends inside their building. But that's only possible because Isaiah Likely is on his rookie deal. You can't do that with 2 veterans unless Mark Andrews is like, hey, I want to stay here, and now I'll take a lot less going forward. And so the interesting part would be, so he's projected to be tight end 1. And so that figure, if it were 13 million, is tight end 1 money. But it's obviously not top of the market, which I think would be tough to do right now, seeing as he's been tight end 2. He has the potential to be tight end 1, but his numbers are tight end 2 stuff. So it would be hard to give him a contract that would like reset the market, right? Now, if he were to wait and bet on himself and say, hey, I want to go through this season and see what I can do now, maybe he would have a big breakout season. It would still be difficult to do, though, with Mark Andrews, as long as Mark Andrews were healthy. I don't know that he's going to have the opportunity to put up numbers that would say, hey, I should reset the market. So to me, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to take just tight end 1 money, because he's going to be tight end 1. And if he does start to like take over the league and becomes the best above, George Kittle, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and Mark Andrews and all the rest, then he can pull a Bateman, right? And like come back to the table and say, hey, EDC, you signed me before I had my breakout year, before I had my opportunity. So can we like re-up this contract? And so, that could always be a possibility. But right now, being tight end 2, I think that tight end 1 money would be fair without resetting the market.
Yeah, playing without that future security is a gamble. Just ask
Mhm.
Lamar earlier on before his mega extension. Isaiah would be taking a gamble would he if he were to play this upcoming season again, as every single tight end will in this room in Baltimore, including the fullback, on a contract year. Back to Jeremy Fowler's list, and you've got execs, coaches, and scouts, as we discussed at the top of the show, related to quarterbacks, ranking the NFL's top 10 tight ends for 2025. And Sarah, the group of folks that he spoke to agrees with PFF. Just a little bit of different, mumble jumbo here with numbers, but both Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, according to execs, coaches, and scouts, also find their way in the top 10. Mark is 6, Isaiah is 8. And I might as well read the top 10 for you because there has been some shuffling in recent years. Look who's taken over the top spot from Kittle and Kelsey. It's Brock Bowers in Raiders country, a second-year player. George Kittle is 2 in San Francisco. Sam Laporta in Detroit is 3. Trey McBride in Arizona, he got the big deal recently, is 4. Travis Kelsey, top 5. Andrews, like I mentioned, is 6. TJ Hawkinson in Minnesota is 7. Likely comes in at 8. Dallas Goedert in Philly is 9. And David Njoku for Cleveland rounds out the top 10. So what were your thoughts on the way this shook out?
This one feels more fair to me than the Lamar one. I think Lamar should be up one spot, if not 2. But I feel like it's a credit to Isaiah Likely that he's on this list as a tight end 2. I don't see any other tight end 2s on here. All these guys are like the guys on their teams. Mark Andrews there at 6 is pretty fair. Kelsey has dropped off, so he's gone to number 5. Here's the write-up for Isaiah Likely. His highest ranking that he got was 5, and the lowest was unranked. I think, let me see real quick. Yeah, Mark Andrews is almost the same. The lowest he got was unranked, and the highest was number 3. And the write-up says, cracking the top 8 as a tight end 2 is an impressive feat for Likely, but his profile in Baltimore is growing. He averaged 8.2 yards per target, ranking high within this tight end pool. His 4.3 yards of separation per route, 4.3 yards of separation. That's nasty. Per route is also among the best for his position. A veteran NFL coach says he's a matchup guy, very loose, can separate, big catch radius, pretty diverse route tree. Obviously, it talks about him becoming a free agent in 2026. And Fowler reports that Baltimore has interest in re-signing him. That's why, like, the Ricky report isn't crazy. Baltimore has interest in re-signing him. He would have a fruitful open market waiting for him. Likely had 13 red zone targets, the most of any NFL tight end who isn't the primary starter. He turned those targets into 8 catches for 56 yards and 5 scores. Bobby, Eric DeCosta cannot let Isaiah Likely test the market. Can't do it.
No, he cannot. And then as far as Andrews and his write-up, like you mentioned, some of the rankings here, his highest was 3. Lowest was unranked, as Isaiah's was. He's 29. Last year's ranking, he was top 3 in this survey. And then here's the write-up. Andrews held up in the voting despite declines in yards and catches per game compared to previous years. We know why. It was a really slow start. Some of that was due to performance. Most of that was due to health, I would think, based on all the information that you gathered about the severity of that car accident during training camp. Jeremy goes on to write, but he was highly efficient when Lamar looked his way. Andrews produced a 140.9 passer rating for his QB on 69 targets, with 55 catches for 673 yards, 11 touchdowns, and just a pick, meaning he was on the wrong end of that. The crucial end zone drop on a game-tying 2-point attempt late in the AFC divisional round loss to Buffalo is unfortunate, but doesn't define his game. Quote, elite instincts, a QB's best friend, an NFL coordinator said. Quote, dominates the middle of the field, understands zones and man-to-man better than anyone outside of Kelsey. Baltimore is a totally different team without him. Bummer about the playoff game thing, because this guy is a total G, end quote. High praise.
Very high praise. Very high praise. And it does let you know that, coordinators still have a hard time, game planning against him. And it is nice because it was mostly just Andrews in the past. And it is nice that Isaiah Likely's emerging along with some other guys. So it's not just one. But I do expect, it's interesting because Mark Andrews had a community event, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But Jeff Zrebiec was there over the weekend, and Andrews told Jeff Zrebiec, and Jeff said it was with a smile. Andrew said, quote, "I've had to eat a lot of crap." I think that's Jeff's word, kind of filling in there. "I've had to eat a lot of crap, but I'm not done yet. I've got a lot left to do for the Baltimore Ravens." And when I read that, I love that, Bobby, because A, he has eaten a lot of crap, and justifiably so, right? After that playoff game of the fumble and then this drop. So I think it's justified that he's gotten some crap about it. And I think it's great that he's taking it in stride. And it should motivate him to say, "I'm not done yet. I've got a lot left to do." And I hope that's exactly how this turns out. I hope it's exactly how this turns out. I obviously want to see Isaiah Likely thrive too. But yeah, the everything is justified in that quote, and I hope he can turn it into his best season yet.
You mentioned the quote came from an event, and that was between Mark and Dexcom. They hosted a camp in Baltimore. Jeff and others were in attendance for it. It's part of Dexcom U Signing Day, the only NIL program created for college athletes living with diabetes. Obviously, Mark is a professional athlete who lives and thrives with diabetes. And as Mark said, it's something that hits home for me. So good stuff there. His girlfriend is pictured there as well, Elena, and they seem to be a super happy couple and have spent a lot of time together this offseason. I believe I read that Mark is in Baltimore for the long haul now, meaning leading up till when veterans report coming up next week. So you have to think he wants to get a nice leg up, Sarah, on just this upcoming season, and most importantly, putting all of that took place last year behind him. And one more note from his write-up too, if I could. What I love about this is sort of the instincts, the instinctual part of Mark's game, and that this coordinator refers to how he almost exploits defenses, right? Understands zones and man-to-man. How often does Mark find that soft spot? And just he kind of waits, and it's the improvisation that he and Lamar have been able to feed their families with over the years, and why he's been referred to as the security blanket. He's such an instinctual, well-studied player. I'm not sure that's talked about enough when you think about Mark Andrews as a study. And so I thought that was interesting that of course a coordinator is going to mention that, right? The schematics, the IQ part of Mark's game.
It's why he's a top 6 tight end, and it's why Lamar always comes to bat for him. And so what's left on Mark Andrews' resume, it's come up big in big moments. That's what he's been criticized for. It's not his production. It's not being a security blanket for Lamar. That's always been phenomenal. It's always been a good thing. Lamar's gotten a lot of crap himself in national media for not coming up big enough in big moments. And usually he's the only one that catches that. And so everybody else needs to take accountability too, including Mark. And he didn't do it right away, but he has done since. And I fully expect a highly productive season, but I need to see him come up big in big moments with everybody else on the Ravens.
On to quick hits we go. What do you got for us on Jamar Chase? Chatting it up a little bit.
Jamar Chase was asked on a podcast who the top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL are. And Bobby, listen, it's just all facts. But I don't even think he gives the Ravens, anybody on the Ravens in terms of cornerbacks, a thought to make his top 5 list. Listen to this.
I saw you do an interview recently, or it went viral recently, and you talked about, your top 5 receivers in the league. Who are your top 5 corners in the league? Somebody asked you. Well, I'm asking you. Jamar Chase, top 5 corners in the league.
I got to put Denzel on there. I don't really play, too many on the other side, besides the AFC. Joey Porter, pretty smooth. He just long. I ain't played too many people, and I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's going to be fun going against Ramsey and Darius Slay. I had an opportunity to go against them this last year, and, you know what I'm saying, him my rookie year. That's 4. I'm going to go with 4.
4. All right. Well, we'll take it. We'll take it. So you put a tweet out yesterday, right? You was talking
Derek Stingley. I put Sting in there.
Sting. Okay. Yeah, you guys had some good battles.
I'm about to say, I put Sting in there. That's my dog.
Okay, so Bobby, he named a lot of guys in the AFC North or coming to the AFC North like Denzel Ward, Joey Porter, Jalen Ramsey coming, Darius Slay already signed, and then Derek Stingley. He's like, I haven't matched up with a lot of guys. I haven't matched up. And it's like, oh, you matched up against a lot of Ravens. So, and by the way, I want to make sure I'm naming that podcast. That was the sit down with Malik Wright. So that's where that podcast and that soundbite comes from. And Bobby, so he slatted the Ravens cornerbacks, but is it not justified? Look at Jamar Chase's numbers against the Ravens. He's had 58 catches for 962 yards and has scored 8 touchdowns in just 8 games. Bobby, that's an average of 120 yards per game against the Ravens. That's an average of 1 touchdown per game against the Ravens. And the last game was the worst one yet. 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. How in his right mind could he put any Ravens corners in that list when he just continually exploits the secondary? Now, I'm hoping the Ravens can turn things around, but it's bad.
Yeah, let's call it spade a spade. He can talk whatever he wants about the Ravens secondary, and that for one. And two, was that a list? He was just naming guys. That wasn't a list. Darius Slay's not look, all due respect, he's not a top 5 corner at this point in his career. So I don't know what that was. Was that like mind games? Because these guys are coming to the AFC North, Ramsey and Slay. I don't know what that was. That was not a list, though.
I don't know, but he gave a lot of love to those Steelers guys, though. Like he's basically named the whole Steelers, top expected top corners.
He did. And so, Porter might be the truth.
And it just is telling that, like, if he's just blurting out names, Marlon Humphrey wasn't in there.
Yeah.
Nate Wiggins, the newcomer, wasn't in there.
No.
Ravens got a new one coming with Alexander. That wasn't in there.
He's just naming off dudes. That was like, he must have been really put on the spot there. Either that or it was more calculated than we're giving him credit for.
Well, regardless, I think it says a lot.
More quick hits. Off we go. This was at the end of last week. Several reporters were on this, that the Harbaugh boys, the Harbaugh brothers, that is, John and Jim, accepted an invitation to the White House. And here they are with President Trump and a few other. I don't know who the other folks are around.
I don't recognize everybody. I'm forgetting the guy on my right. Yeah, the screen's right with the blue tie. I'm forgetting, but he's definitely helps with. I feel like he's talked a lot about tariffs and things like that. So certainly on the financial part, he's on the administration. To the left in the leather jacket, that's the CEO of NVIDIA.
Oh.
So I did not have on my bingo card that the Harbaugh brothers would be in a picture with Donald Trump and the CEO of NVIDIA. I don't know who the guy is on the far left in the red tie, but obviously, given how divisive politics can be, at least half the country is going to like to see this. At least half Ravens fans, if not more, because Baltimore definitely leans more left. But what I like about John Harbaugh is that regardless of who's in the White House, he'll go. So I was with, obviously, the team the first time the Ravens went when Barack Obama was the president. And so, if you get an invitation, regardless of the president, John Harbaugh will go. So there he is with that number 44, Mr. President jersey. And then Ozzie and John and President Obama walking. And Bobby, I just had to throw in there, I was there for it. That was one of the coolest days of my life, for sure. That was the social media, or the web team at the time. It's much bigger now. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I was, I think, a month removed from having my third baby. That was about 12 years ago. 12 years ago, because she's 12 now.
Look at you.
What a look back. And then I got a picture there with the Lombardi trophy there at the White House. That was a cool day. That was a cool day. And you guys probably recognize, look how young Ryan Mink is there, and Garrett Downing, who's
look at Dave Lang in the middle of those two guys. My buddy Dave Lang. I love Dave.
Yeah. Look at John Eisenberg over there.
Yeah, look at Eisenberg and Michelle in the middle.
That's great. Yeah. That was such a cool day, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's